LeBron James had it up, and then Kim Kardashian one day. And
I remember your video
nuts.
reacting to that one. You called your grandma or something like that.
No, my grandma was in the car.
That's
my
what it
wife's
was.
grandma.
That's what it was.
And I was like, Grandma, you know Kim Kardashian? And, you know, she's a 94-year-old Puerto Rican woman. She was like, yes, I know Kim Kardashian. I was like, you know Skims? She's like, yeah. I was like, I don't know if you know Skims.
Yeah, you know Skims.
You know Skims, right? And so that was like just nuts. Because we were going to the botanical gardens, and all of a sudden you see this, and you're like, what do I?
Yeah.
Just keep going to the botanical gardens.
We're still going to the gardens because the trees are going to talk.
Yeah,
That's right.
hello.
Yeah, I got to talk. They're like, Andy, are you on trees? All right, no. So we like that happened, and then Steph Curry used it, and then it got put in a commercial, then it got put in the halftime show for NBA Finals. And just like all these looks, I must have gotten millions of dollars worth of viral promotion for free.
Right.
And it's like, you know, you didn't pay for none of that. It just, once something goes viral or organic, it's a thing.
Well, let me say this, Andy Mineo, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Such a joy.
We're so glad to have you.
Thanks for having me at Movement.
Yeah, man.
Movement.
This is such a cool setup.
Yeah,
like
man.
the stage on the rodeo. It's literally my first rodeo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Well, welcome.
This is our second because we did it last year. And then Jennie last night wore a shirt that said, not my first rodeo, because it was our second. So we could actually use that expression. So
Ours.
it was our second rodeo.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, you stole it. I was going to try it on stage tonight.
Yeah. Was it your first belt buckle?
Yeah.
Is it your first belt buckle?
For
you got here?
sure. Well, I've had other horrendous belt buckles that I bought on 125th Street in Harlem.
I'm saying, I mean, the first one that
like
says Mineo
2009.
on it.
Yeah, the other ones were like rhinestones with skulls. It was an awful era in rap music. Very Dipset inspired. I don't know if
But
you
do you
remember
still
that.
have them?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Were the back of your jeans, the pockets really thread embroidered a lot. Yeah.
That was a big time for True Religion.
True Religion.
It was a gross era of, but it's all coming back. You know, it's cyclical.
Jinkos, all the
Jinkos,
things.
everything.
All the things.
It's true.
A lot of questions, but I do want to talk about your love of nature. I love that. You love getting outside in the woods, getting lost. What does that do for your soul?
Yeah, I've had just some like, so my journey with like faith has been interesting over all these years because I've been very like honest and vulnerable about that stuff, which makes some people super uncomfortable and other people like, thank God someone else is being honest.
I'm not
right?
alone. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I think some of my music is a little, it does different things for different people. But one of the things I noticed like just over the years is like I would always beat myself up if I didn't read Bible. You know, like every single day I'd be like, I'm an awful Christian. You know, I was just like, and so I like would almost force myself every single day to have these rhythms, to do this stuff. And I still think those are really good. Like there's still fruitful stuff because I have things memorized. I like have little addresses in the Bible, like, oh, I know these things, say these things, and kind of how the story connects because of that. But some of the most profound moments I've had with God have been in nature. Like, and it sounds very funny. Like when I say it, it just sounds nuts, but like, I've had these profound experiences looking at trees.
Yeah.
Like,
that does
like
not sound
looking at-
crazy.
well, it, I
mean, it
like
may
the
sound it,
expression
but
tree huggers and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I've been like, I remember seeing, I was in Seattle. We were working on an album on Bainbridge Island, and I found like an apple tree that was out in front of the studio, the Airbnb we were renting. And I was having like a meltdown, like an existential paradigm shift. Like, oh my God, nature is literally giving us sustenance. You know, and I was like thinking, because I was normally used to going and buying stuff from the grocery store. But I was like, wait, the whole ecosystem that God made already has like sustenance built in, and it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like
Seriously.
apples are so good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then there was like berries and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, God created this ecosystem and I belong as a part of it. And it was a very profound experience for me. And things like that, or like going to the ocean, surfing for the first time. And I'm having these downloads, and as I'm sharing it with my friends, they're like, oh, you experience God most through nature.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
That
and
makes sense.
because not a lot of people have ever even said that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, you only experience God through the Bible and prayer.
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
And anything else is kind of frou-frou. And it was like, dude, that's just not true.
Yeah.
We don't have
Thoroughly
people encourage-
unbiblical too. Right.
Right.
Like take away the nature imagery from the Psalms. You don't have a lot left.
Yep.
There's deer giving birth.
Yep.
fires being divided,
Mountains.
cedars of Lebanon.
Yep.
And then honestly, in heaven, the mountains are going to clap their hands, or trees will clap their hands, the mountains will sing. So, I mean, there's a lot of it in our future, not just in our past.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
love that.
No, it's been, that's a cool thing that I've been finding out about myself.
Yeah.
And so being out here for this, it was incredible. I'm like, wait, great. I'm going to do a show and I'm going to like help be a part of this event. Then I'm going to stay for a day and get to experience
I
some
love
stuff,
that you
so.
did that. I think it's good for your soul too, not just a rush from airport to hotel to airport to thing, you know?
Yeah.
Tagging those days on to decompress is so good.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
The other thing I was going to ask you involved, and I'm just completely spacing it. Oh, I was going to tell you before I asked you, as you're singing tonight and performing, there's going to be a setting sun that's still visible in the sky, you know? So I know you'll be,
cool.
you know, watching the students and remembering your things and all that, but don't forget to peek up because to your right, there's going to be setting sun. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I start weeping on stage. Like, what's wrong with this guy? Look at the sunset.
Involuntarily, fetal position.
Yeah, that's
under
right.
the drum risers.
But it's so, I mean, that's so Psalm, like you said, it's so Psalm 8, even particularly like when I consider the heavens and the stars that you've made and who is man that you're mindful of him. Like it's just, it reminds you of how big God is and how little you are, but then how much God loves you.
Well, and as we've prepared this conference, we've thought a lot about how many of Jesus' sermons were indoors versus outdoors. He preached way more outside than inside.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that, like, that's how he was able to point to stuff, you know, like, oh, look at the grapevine and look at, you know, the sheep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just walking around the tares and the wheat. It wasn't like he thought of that abstractly. He was pointing to tares in the wheat,
Right.
you know?
Like, let me give you an example that you understand. You can see that
pulls
we all
this weed out, you know? So there's also a book. It's not like a Christian book, but it's called The Hidden Power of Trees. It's about root system and trees, how they communicate. And
isn't that how they also, like, when people walk through or walk by trees, that they actually release things to like help you?
100%.
Yeah, and there's like an inner working.
And the way sunflowers turn towards us, like there's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I had a fascinating moment just walking through a park, and I saw a tree. Again, another weird tree moment. But I have 3 specific ones, and I was watching this tree like super contorted and like bent and all kinds of. And I was like, why is it doing that? And I realized it was a row of trees, and they all casted a shadow. So this tree wasn't able to get enough light.
Sun,
So it literally bent itself all kinds of different directions to get out from the shade to get access to what it needed, which was sunlight. And I was like, what? You know, I'm having like all these, like, what does that mean?
It's like, why do I not have the sense to do what this tree knows to do?
Right. To like do whatever it takes or look as crazy as it looks in order to get where you need, you know, to be in a space where you're getting what you need. Like, crazy
really good
stuff, man.
Really good.
I could go on for days about
Lewis
that.
and Tolkien would say that like that whole nature mythology thing about trees having spirits and taking life, like that might be more accurate history than we know. That at the fall there may have been something of the animal kingdom that lost its ability to speak, tree kingdom ability, you know what I mean? That there's almost like a dumbness to creation that we kind of, when we're around it, we kind of know like, wait, there should be more than there is.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you go and see some epic thing, there's a disappointment to it. Like almost like some part of you knows it's cool, but not what it could have been.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I don't going to get too deep on that, but
no, I mean, are you talking mushrooms right now? I'm
that's true. The cloud is talking to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on?
That was a brilliant pause. I love the execution. Wonderful. Full send. Songs and their inspiration. I'm sure you get asked all the time, but I was curious the origin story of Coming in Hot. How did the writing process lead to that phrase? And
well, I did a little video on TikTok just to like help people understand how that song came to be. So if you guys want like
haven't seen
thing
that
with visuals and stuff, go watch
Maybe
that.
We'll put the link in the show notes here.
Yeah. Go check it out. But I'll give you the brief version. So Lecrae and I were doing a co-headline tour. It was coming up, and we were like, hey, let's do a song together so that we can have something to perform night of. So it was more just like a marketing thing. Like, let's just do a record real quick. I happened to be in San Diego working on some stuff, or in LA, and then he was in LA or something like that. It was like I was in San Diego, LA. We met in San Diego at this studio, and we invited a bunch of friends. So Belief, my friend Belief was there. Philip Tran was doing photography. Like John Words Played came through. So like all the homies. So it was like just a good time. We're cracking up, and we just started recording songs. And we got 2 done that night. And my friend John, he's in the his name is Words Played is an artist name. He was in the Navy, And so he always has these really funny expressions. You know what I'm saying? Like, look alive. You know, like we'll be going somewhere. Look alive.
I like that.
And he'd be
Heads
like,
up.
yeah, heads up, coming in hot. Like he would say stuff like that. And I heard him say that one day and I was like, oh, that's like a classic phrase. Let me like take that. So before we went to the studio session, I was on the tour bus and I was like, just coming up with a handful of ideas to come and show Lecrae that night, because that's how it works with him and I. I create all the choruses and then he comes and he's like, all right, I like that. Let's do it. So that was
awesome.
Just a little joke on my buddy. But so what happened? So I come in and I show him this beat, and the original thing was I don't do that. I'm coming in and the beat dropped, but there was no beat beforehand. So it was like a long acapella and then that drop. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, let's work on that. So all I had was the phrase coming in hot and some mumbles. So we put that down and he records his verse. And the next day I have to fly out to Europe for like my Europe tour. So he was like trying to finish it that night. And I was like, dude, I don't got it. Like, I don't write fast. So he recorded his verse that night. He ended up re-recording it, but I took what we did and I went to Europe. And then as I was jumping around from different country to country, I would set up in the hotel room just my little one of these mics. This is the exact mic I recorded coming out on.
Yeah.
The mic. We're gonna sell it on eBay later. He brought it with him for us to auction off.
The mic.
Yeah.
The coming in hot
Well,
mic.
it's an SM7.
I got you.
SM7 and a little Apollo. And I would set up and there's like footage. Ray was with me, my DJ. And he would just like record me. There's little videos of me like with a pizza box next to me. And like my shirt is off because when you're recording, you got to turn the AC off.
Right.
So I'm like sweating and, you know, like, and I'm just coming up with little parts of the verse here and there. So like, I think I finished it when we were in Amsterdam in this like, this really cool, like little hotel.
Where you say Amsterdam because the Lusketeers are prudish.
Oh, you guys are, aren't you? The
Wow.
Lusketeers.
I'm sorry.
Amsterdam?
I apologize.
You guys got Lusketeer tats yet?
Yeah, not yet. Merch forthwith. By the way, I will
we don't
ask you
believe
later.
in tattoos.
We're trying to think of
Amen.
the best, worst merch we could do for our product. We don't have merch yet. We don't want shirts. We don't want hats.
Yeah.
We're thinking 5-gallon buckets or knee pads.
Those are
So
sick.
later on, tell us what you think. But please, Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we're in Amsterdam, and I finish my verse, and I send the vocals back, and they mix it, and so then it comes out, and it does like pretty well amongst our fan base. It gets like 8 million streams or something like that.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty
like,
good.
No
no
big
matter
deal.
who you're rolling along
Well,
with. Yeah.
it's a lot, but then it's also not in the grand scheme of things. It depends on how you look at it, right?
Right.
So now it's at 108 million, you know, like on Spotify.
And
So it jumped.
There was a Kardashian that posted it.
Well, so this is what happened. It
Okay.
did pretty well amongst our fan base, and then it would just keep on having these moments where famous people were using it, and it started to pick up momentum. So Will Smith announced he was on TikTok with that song.
Right.
I'm coming in, you know, and he's like, all right, I guess I'm on
Wow.
TikTok.
He was like skydiving in Hungary or something like that, right? With
No,
that
this
video.
one was like it was like a magic trick. Like he was pulled out of a thing and dropped in.
That's
and
right.
It was something like that.
So cool.
My buddy Caleb did that. And so that happened. And then like, you just start seeing more and more famous people use it. And they're like people from my childhood. You're like Chandler from Friends used it, you know, or like just all
Girl,
Yeah.
what is my life?
yeah, it was
What
like
am I
every day
doing?
someone was sending me a new one. And then
my
it was like
gosh.
LeBron James had it up. And then Kim Kardashian one day. And
I remember
it went
your video
nuts.
reacting to that one. You called your grandma or something like
No,
that.
my grandma was in the car.
That's
my
what it
wife's
was.
grandma.
That's what it was.
And I was like, Grandma, you know Kim Kardashian? And, you know, she's a 94-year-old Puerto Rican woman. She was like, yes, I know Kim Kardashian. I was like, you know Skims? She's like, yeah. I was like, I don't know if you know Skims.
yeah, you know
but
Skims.
you know Skims, right? And so that was like just nuts. Because we were
Wow.
going to the botanical gardens and all of a sudden you see this and you're like, what do I
Yeah.
just
What
keep
what
going
is-
to the
what is-
botanical
We're
gardens?
still
Like,
going to the
it's not-
gardens because the trees are going to talk.
Yeah,
That's right.
hello.
Yeah.
I gotta talk. They're like, Andy, are you on trees? All right, no. So we like that happened, and then Steph Curry used it, and then it got put in a commercial, then it got put in the halftime show for NBA Finals. It's just like all these looks. I must have gotten millions of dollars worth of viral promotion for
Dang.
free.
Right.
And it's like, you know, you didn't pay for none of that. It's just
Yeah.
when something goes viral or organic, it's a thing. So anyways, the song's platinum, or it's like really close to being platinum by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So that's like
Congrats.
nuts to say that out loud.
And it's
Like,
iconic. It's like one of the most instantly recognizable songs you hear it, and it makes everybody feel some kind of a way.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
you can't
like they want to make an Instagram video
or just go live a daring life. Like you just want to like swing off a vine or something. You know what I mean? George of the Jungle when you hear it.
Tarzan.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Nah, it's been fun, man, to see that happen. Like I saw the other day because we were getting the analytics back because they were submitting it for the RIA certification or whatever, and it showed that there was like 3 billion impressions with that song, like on the internet.
Wow.
I don't even know how to wrap my mind around that.
That's half of like the planet. The planet's
it's like 8 billion people.
Only 8
right?
billion people. So I mean that's like
psychotic,
more than 1
actually.
out of 3 human beings on the planet.
It's funny. I'm so like regular famous.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, you know, because I don't need a bodyguard and like stuff at this point in my life. You know, you're just regular, but then somebody might know. And it's cool. You do a picture, whatever, and it's fine. But it's weird. Like most people know that song. So when they start asking, like, do you have anything maybe I would
have heard?
And I'm like,
don't you love that you're trying to sell yourself onto someone who knows you, but they don't necessarily? But like, help me understand how I would know you.
Right.
That's funny.
Well, I just appreciate that I had an entire career before that happened too. So it's, you know, it doesn't feel like this one thing happened.
Totally.
You know, and it's like
there's
real fans and real fan
You've
base
worked hard.
Yeah.
You've been producing music for a very long time.
Yeah.
Anything in the works? New record?
Yeah. So I got a bunch of new stuff getting ready. Been working a ton and like just trying to load up the clip with really interesting and compelling stuff. So that's forced me to go away for a little while, you know, off of socials and stuff. And I'm so eager because, you know, every artist has their insecurities. Like, are people going to forget you? And like, I got to always be out there.
But stay relevant.
Yeah. Right. Trying to stay relevant, all that stuff. But, you know, I'm just realizing like, if I want a different result, I have to do some different things. And the different result I want is like, I hate being in the rat race of trying to keep up with things. And by doing that, never creating the space to actually create the quality of work that I'm super proud of. Because you're always for me, I was like pressing ship a lot of times on products I thought were unfinished in order to try to stay relevant and keep up.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? And I think there's some validity to that because sometimes if you don't have those deadlines, you won't ship and good things won't happen, you know? Like Coming In Hot, the other one that is going platinum now, You Can't Stop Me.
You Can't Stop Me.
That was one that was like, I recorded it on a USB microphone in a green room and I wanted to hold on to it and perfect it. But like, that's a God story too. Like I had a song and the song was about a girl that I had broken up with. And my friends were like, don't put this out. Like, this is going to get messy. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We know her, you know her, like, don't do it. So it never came out. And I was like, what am I going to put on there?
We know that Taylor Swift, it doesn't always go well.
Yeah, it was like, dude, Taylor, if she finds out this. So I'm completely joking. So I was like, all right, let me put a different song. So I put You Can't Stop Me in place of the song I replaced. Because I was going to hold on to You Can't Stop Me.
Wow.
I was going to replace, or I was going to keep You Can't Stop Me and work on it. But I bet you if I did, it would have never came out.
Yeah,
you know, because I would have been tweaking and moved on
or
to a
you could have
different thing.
maybe broke the magic on it or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, so it's just stuff like that. But for me right now, it's been, I really want to get a different result. I'm trying to, I've like just tapped in with people on my team on a deeper level to be like, what is it we want to say? What do we want to mean to people? What do we want to represent? And how do you do that at a high level? And you can't just be running, you know, trying to fix the ship while it's out on the water.
Create
you know?
another flight.
Right.
You got to
That's
pull it
so
into dry
good.
dock.
Pull it in for a second. Let's reconfigure and come back out stronger than ever.
So wise, so
Wow.
wise. Where did your love for music and where did all that come from? And when did it begin for
It was
you?
growing up being around my friends, like hanging out on the stoops and like them playing Snoop and playing like just stuff that was blowing my mind. Storytelling, like Lottie Dottie, Snoop Dogg. And it was like the theme song as a kid. You know, it was like Eminem was coming out at the time, like DMX, like all these very like groundbreaking artists. And it was just such a fascinating subculture to watch hip hop like blow up.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And so me and my friends would write our own raps. We would buy like the CD singles because we couldn't buy the full albums because they just cost too much.
Right.
CD single was like $3, but the CD single would have the instrumental on it too. So we'd put the instrumental on, write our own stuff.
Wow.
Interesting.
And kind of just try to make each other laugh or like change the words or something. You know what I mean? Like do parodies. And it turned into this hobby. Like we were all doing it. And then we just kept building on it. Like one birthday, I just said, everybody, I just want money so I can buy like a handheld mic to record myself. And like Christmas, I was like, I just want money so I can buy this little piece of recording, you know, like little cheap recording things to record myself on the computer. And then we just learned how to record ourselves, and it became this hobby amongst me and my friends. And I just loved it. And I stuck with it. And some of those guys went on to like RIT and became like mechanical engineers. And they're like, I wish I would have stayed rapping, you know? I was like, maybe. It was ups and downs.
Yeah.
But
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's always things that you did with your friends. And I think the reason why you can get good at something is if you really enjoy doing it, like you're having fun, you'll do it every day. And if you do it every day, you'll get better.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's so important. Like, find stuff you genuinely like.
Yeah.
You know, you always kind of hear like, I'm going to be a whatever because I heard it like makes good money, you know, and you're like, all right, that's one thing, you know, but
that's a good word.
It's, yeah.
You're in a hotel waiting, you have hours till you get picked up or whatever. You're scrolling through channels. What's the one movie that no matter how many times you see it, it comes by, you cannot go and watch it?
Man, there's so many that come to mind, but like, I feel like if The Sandlot comes on,
there we go.
Or if like anything Jim Carrey comes on, like Ace Ventura or Dumb and Dumber, or anything Chris Farley, Adam Sandler.
True enough.
I'm like, any of that's on, like, it's staying.
Yes.
So it's harder for you to get into the car than it is to leave the hotel room. Okay.
Yeah.
How about best purchase under $100 that's improved your life disproportionately?
Wow.
Man, that's a good one. I mean, I don't know if it's under $100, but it's close. There might be now like 120, 30 bucks. But the AirPods, like, and that's a few years ago, but I put on the AirPods and I remember talking with somebody and I was like, there's no cord. There's no cord.
Your hands are free.
Yeah. And like, I went to like, I had to change my shirt and I did that while I was on the phone. I was like, this is insane.
My life has changed.
Yeah, this is nuts.
That's awesome.
And I would also say this. Good pair of underwear.
Good pair of underwear.
Man, listen, for some reason, I don't know why, men do this thing where they'll wear underwear until it looks like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And like, dude, put some respect on your cheeks.
Sure.
And like, get a pair of nice underwear. Like, throw it out.
Yeah.
The waistband looks like a piece of bacon. Like, stop this madness. And like,
it's a good word.
Like, it's
$5 at Walmart. Yeah. It's not a lot of money.
The other thing is like, I think it's just baked into our brain. Like, what am I gonna do? Go buy a new pair.
I'm stuck with these, you know.
I'm stuck with it.
So
like,
the day
you're
I
not.
die.
Just throw them out.
That is so funny.
Isn't it true? Like,
it's really true.
Word of advice.
It's a good perspective. Lastly, certainly not least, you're on planes a lot, but it can't be music related, can't be like relating to your job or the AirPods, of course, or your underwear. What's one travel essential that you're like, if I leave it on a trip, I'm so sad I don't have it with me?
Man, it would probably be, but this is a given. Like, my toiletry bag. Are you nuts? Like, is that a given?
Yeah, but I mean, like, neck pillow. You know, is there something like I always have it? My favorite hoodie or?
Nah. There's nothing besides like the phone or AirPods
that enhances
or something.
The flight experience for you like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super deep into The Sopranos right now.
Okay.
So if I get on a flight and I didn't download something, like, you know, because you can't stream.
The panic when you're trying to get something to download right before taxiing.
This is a 6-hour flight. I need something to,
Or you were depending on the screen to be on the seat in front of you and it's not there.
It's not that one.
And flight goes down.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there.
Okay, Andy, what's the worst Hey Luskos merch idea that we can maybe put into fabrication?
Yeah, I was thinking you guys could do maybe some sort of like, do you remember those sticky hands where you could throw them like this and they,
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Good.
Like completely useless
I'm
piece
writing
of,
that down.
But with a handle that's got our name on it.
the hand says Lusketeers,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
a putty hand that throws.
That's very good.
That's
Or
good.
maybe like the mini hands,
Yeah.
and then it just like is a tattoo on the back that says Lusketeers.
Oh man,
Wow, that's good.
these are great ideas.
Yes.
We're quality. We're going to trademark them
I will
immediately.
invoice you.
Yes, for your time and for your services. Andy
Yes.
Mineo, thank you for coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
for
Thank
sure. Thanks for having
you.
me.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to swing by levilusko.com and jennielusko.com to see what's going on in our world.
And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And in the meantime, we would love to connect with you on social media.
Jennie and Levi Lusko, out.